Is stimming a conscious choice? That's actually a very hard question for me to answer. The answer will honestly vary from autistic person to autistic person, so I can only give it to you as I experience it. Is stimming consciously chosen? Do you consciously choose to do it? Yes and no. Sometimes I start stimming and don't realize I'm doing it until I'm already doing it, and then it's like, oh, I'm doing a thing. Cool. I'm being cool. I'm being my weird old self. I'm cool. Okay, forgive my bad southern accent. I can kind of do one, y'all, but I don't think it's very good. I think I muddle up a whole bunch of states when I try to do it, so yeah. Oh god, I hope that was an appropriation. I kind of talk like that sometimes, just kind of just to be silly and just to be me. I'm a dork like that. But, is stimming always conscious? No. Yes. No. Yes. It's both, for me. Because, you know, I might, like I said, I might start stimming and not realize it until I'm already doing it. You see? I didn't consciously start to do that with my fingers. I just kind of started and then I was talking about it and I became aware of it. That's how it works. That's how it works for me sometimes. And I've got different stims, so that may also determine whether I'm conscious of doing them or not. And I may just be aware that I'm doing a certain type of stimming for certain reasons, and then I start deciding to do more of that kind of stim because it feels good and it's serving a purpose. Now, I may do sensory seeking stims, and I may do stims to block something out. And those stims they kind of create sensory input and information to block out some other kind of sensory input or information. So, like sensory seeking stims, you know, it kind of varies because I might do the same stim one day for sensory seeking, and another day it may be just to block out something else. So, excuse me, too much ice cream. Marble swirl chocolate vanilla, yum. But I may sensory seek, like I might squeeze, or I might take my tangle and go like this with it and kind of hit myself with it very lightly because I like just the sudden impacts. I like that feeling. Or I might wrap it around my fingers so that it kind of squeezes them, and not until it hurts, but it's a pressure thing. It's creating pressure on my joint, and that feels good to me. You know, this is sensory seeking right now, and tomorrow I might do it because the phone rang and it's irritating, so I do this to kind of block out the annoyance of the phone. So, you know, like I said, it can vary, and the same stim may serve a whole bunch of purposes depending on when I use it or why I start doing it. And, you know, like I said, I'm not always conscious of the fact that I'm stimming. I don't consciously start to do it all the time. Sometimes I do, yes, but a lot of times like this, I'm consciously doing it. I chose to start doing it, so I'll just get more fervent with it, and it's like this. This is my tangle, and it's fun. I will pick up my no-glue shroom sometimes and not think about it. I just automatically just pop it in my mouth. It's a chewable stim toy. I don't know, my room is kind of dark right now. I wanted to do some dramatic lighting over here. So, because I don't want you to see my under eye bags. They're huge and ugly. Anyway. So, but my no-glue shroom, I've got a review of this somewhere on my channel. But this is a chewable stim toy. It's kind of like a pacifier, but you could chew it too. You know, it's made of silicone, food grade silicone, so it's kind of like chewing on a shoe. Anyway, and it feels good. This is a sensory seeking stim toy, and like I said, sometimes I may use it to shut out stuff, or I may do it just because I want sensation in my mouth and on my molars. I don't like to bite with my front teeth, but my side teeth and my back teeth, that actually feels good. I've discovered that feels good. But, you know, I've always thought that chewable stim toys were just for, like, biting on very lightly with your front teeth. But no, you can chew them like you're chewing a piece of gum or something. And it's like that. But I don't want to get into it and then forget I'm taking video and it's just 5 minutes of me chewing. And that'd be kind of embarrassing because then I lose my train of thought. I did a whole bunch of selfies for Red instead, and I kept getting distracted by my stim toys, and I kept forgetting I was doing selfies, and so I got one selfie that's just so me, is great. It's just, you know, I got my no glue shroom in my mouth, and I'm like, ah, with my red tangle. This is my multicolored one. And, but anyway, you know, I just wanted to answer that question, is stimming conscious? Yes and no. Because it depends. You know, I'm consciously doing this right now, just because I'm talking about it, it's making me want to do it. So I am just choosing to let myself do it. Now the stimming itself, it's kind of a natural thing. My body knows what feels good in the moment, and it will just seek to do it. And I just kind of let it. I just kind of let my body just tell me, okay, the stim is going to feel good, so we'll do it. And other times, my body will just start to do it, and it's just like, oh, okay. You know, it's kind of like when you swallow something, you know, you start the process, and then the food just goes down, and it's just, you know, it's out of your control. And I don't want to say stimming is like throwing up. It's like the reverse of that, because the reverse of that is throwing up, and that's just gross. Actually, a meltdown is more like an equivalent to throwing up than stimming is, but stimming might be more like a burp. You know, it's like a nervous system burp. You know, it's just like some people, they can swallow air and just be like, bleh. I don't have that talent. You know, if I burp, it's usually kind of accidental. But, see me getting distracted by my tangle here? I'm just sitting here looking at it going, oh, it's shiny and it looks nice in the light. I'm just going to stare at that and forget I'm taking a video of myself talking about stimming. Oh my god. That's my life. That's my life right there. That's my life. I am like one of those people that's like stimming like most of the time. I wonder if that counts as me being visibly autistic. Because, you know, there's some people that say you're only visibly autistic if you're like nonverbal and like have all these severe disabilities. Ugh. Functioning labels are crap, don't use them. But stimming, in a way, it's kind of like blinking your eyes. You don't really think about the fact that you blink, you just know you do it. And that's how I view stimming. Now, if you can imagine if I said don't blink, all of a sudden you get very uncomfortable. Because you're focused on not blinking your eyes, and you can't focus on anything else because you have to consciously prevent yourself from doing this natural thing you've done all your life. That's what stimming is like, and that's what it's like if you make someone stop doing it. So don't shame people for stimming. Don't shame autistic people for being who they are. And that's what Autism Speaks does. They try to sound like they're all nice and inclusive, but they're actually very harmful. You know, because who wants to be treated and talked about like there's some kind of a disease, or that they're going to ruin their parents' marriage? Who wants to hear that? That's very damaging. Stimming is not damaging. Okay, so, you know, there's some stims that are self-injurious, and yes, that can be a bit worrisome and scary, and, you know, the person may seriously injure themselves, so, you know, you gotta monitor it. But, you know, instead of, like, pulling their hand away from their, you know, their face, you know, if they're self-injurious and you can't find the cause, then, you know, you should try to protect them a bit. You know, not like pin them down to the floor face down, but, you know, just kind of block their hands from hitting themselves. Or put mitts on their hands so that they, you know, they're not hurting themselves when they hit, and put helmets on them and stuff like that. You know, those are good ideas. But you should always seek to figure out what's triggering the behavior. Because if you fix that, you know, a lot of times the behavior will lessen or stop because they won't have the need to do it. You know, if your kid is like ripping their shirts, you know, instead of like holding their hands down, check the shirt. Maybe the tag hurts. You know, maybe there's a seam that feels really bad, and, you know, a thing that may just kind of be like, oh, that's so annoying to you, is like end of the world, holy crap, this is sensory hell to an autistic person. So just consider that. You know, a little seam to you might feel like having your back sanded with a sander. Okay, that hurts. It might feel like somebody just being like, hey, how's it going, and smacking your back when you got horrible sunburn. You know, sensory issues are not a joke. If someone is saying something feels bad, please take them seriously. And if they're stimming, don't make fun of them. They're just doing a thing to make their body comfortable, just like blinking keeps your eyes comfortable. You know, unless you got some kind of pink eye or an infection that makes your eyes feel bad and water and get stuck closed and all that stuff. I've had pink eye so many times as a kid, so I know. Pink eye and ear infections were my things when I was a kid. Also strep. I got strep throat a lot. I don't know why. I don't need more. It was always when I was younger. But anyway, stimming. It's natural. And is it conscious for me? Yes and no. I don't know if that's very informative for you, but, you know, it's a little bit about me. And any little bit about me that people know, it's got to be better than not knowing it, right? 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 Okay, bye.